Golriz Ghahraman has been the leading voice in Parliament for human rights, for truly independent foreign policy and for electoral reform for 6 years now. Her political achievements are significant. Green MPs are expected to maintain high standards of public behaviour. It is clear to us that Ms Ghahraman is in a state of extreme distress. She has taken responsibility and she has apologised. We support the decision that she has made to resign. We are deeply sorry to see Ms Ghahraman leave under these circumstances, and we do wish her all the very best for her future. Ms Ghahraman has worked tirelessly on behalf of her communities. Nothing detracts from this work, and we know that she will continue to represent and support those communities in the future. We cannot comment on the details of allegations whilst police investigations are ongoing. The Green Party is a movement of thousands of people who are working tirelessly for people and for planet, and that work continues. We're happy to take any questions.
Has Scotty's been reimbursed, or have the items been returned that allegedly were stolen?
We don't have details of that, and that is a matter for Ms Ghahraman and for Scotty's.
And where is Ms Ghahraman at the moment?
Do you think the Greens need to review how it supports and selects its MPs, given Ms Ghahraman is the second MP who's been forced to resign within the last year?
The Greens have a high quality and very robust selection process. It is also understandable that all MPs across all political parties are still human when they come into politics. We will continue to support Golriz through a really distressing time that she is having at the moment, and that is a Green Party responsibility also.
How is Golriz at the moment?
Clearly distressed. We know that this is the right decision for her to apologise and to resign from Parliament, for her well-being, for her to be able to focus, and our responsibility is to make sure she has the support she is needed and to continue to give her aroha and compassion.
Marua, can I just get that into Reo Māori for te
Me mihi kātika ki a Golriz I tēnei wā he pauri mō ana hoa mahi, mō te caucus, mō te rōpū kākariki. Ko te mea nui me mihi aroha ki a ia, ki tōna whānau, ki ōna hapori, I tōna kaha tū, mō ngā kaupapa e pāna ki ēnā community, ēnā hapori, nō reira tēnei te mihi aroha ki a ia.
Why did it take this long to get to this conclusion and to sort of act on these allegations?
I mean, Golriz only got back to the country over the course of the weekend, and so, you know, it's kind of just taken the time that it's taken. Ultimately, there is still an open police investigation, and so, you know, that's kind of a factor here.
How cooperative has she been throughout this process?
Very.
Do you think that fronting a little bit earlier, though, in person would have saved her from being in the headlines every single day when she's clearly not well?
We, as co-leaders, James and I, really needed to seek clarity and understand the allegations. She was overseas, and I think people can understand how important it is to have face-to-face and in-person conversations with such allegations. Also to allow her to have the support that she needs to be able to discuss those allegations. And once we were advised and took some time to work out our plan and course of attack and appropriate action, Ms Ghahraman returned at the earliest possible convenience. I'm going to go over here.
So Golriz has a third allegation leading from October and says that she has mental health. Were you aware of it leading back to October? And have you been, how does the Green Party support its MPs with mental health?
Oh, so you're asking if we are aware of mental health, not if we are aware of the allegations?
So were you aware of the allegations leading back to October?
No.
And because Golriz said about mental health, were you aware that she was suffering from that, or how does the Green Party support that mental health?
Yeah, it's a really important question for all political parties. Particularly, we have seen the conversation over the past years, especially about the particular the particular treatment of women with public profiles, and in addition, the particular treatment of women of colour with public profiles. It is incumbent on all political parties and the parliamentary system to be able to support everyone under the pressures of political profiles, and the Greens certainly have always taken that seriously to make sure that there are avenues for MPs feeling that stress to be able to communicate and seek help.
And so when does Mr. Rahman
Carry on.
Can we expect Tiano or Efeso to pick up some of the portfolios that Ms. Golriz has left?
That's a fair question. The portfolio reshuffle will absolutely come in due course. James and I have yet to have those conversations today, but there will be likely be some interim portfolio shuffles in the meantime, and then we'll all let you know when we've got the fuller reshuffle. Can I come behind here?
Were you aware that Golriz was experiencing mental distress before these allegations came to light?
Look, it wouldn't be appropriate for us to comment on, the mental health condition of one of our colleagues. We're not medical professionals. Professional support is available to all of our MPs, and we do know that people do access them, and we encourage people to access that professional support.
And how was the conversation in person with Golriz?
Well,
Yep, so once she returned from overseas, yes, it was really important for us to meet in person. The actual details of that conversation I won't be going into detail with, but it was, again, to seek clarification and allow her to be heard.
But
When
I guess
that
on a
was
personal
yesterday?
level, how was it?
Oh,
This must have rocked you.
All of this is a sad day. I'm losing a friend and a colleague who I've been close to and have worked with for 6 years, both of us, James and I. Sad for our caucus, and we are here to give aroha and hold her leadership in the portfolio work, the kaupapa work that she has often been a lone voice in. Just want to acknowledge the strong support for Palestinian communities and against the genocide that Golriz has been a lead voice in, for example, alongside human rights, improving our democratic and voting systems, foreign policy. We just have aroha and sadness for the value of her kaupapa and for her as a person, and she was a part of our team.
But this will be quite a big blow to retailers who will be thinking, we're struggling right now. What's your message to them after one of your MPs is alleged to be shoplifting?
Yeah, first I do want to mihi to Scotties, who have been generously providing us with information and helping us to be clear about the allegations as much as they could, and then proactively kept coming back to want to provide and pass on information to us. And I really want to thank them for their generous communication, and really want to acknowledge the distress that Scotties and any other retailers through these incidents, through these allegations, are feeling right now. We know and we expect accountability. We know the public has every right to expect accountability from MPs, which is why we support and welcome Golriz's apology and her decision for her well-being to resign.
Confirming that meeting happened yesterday, is that right?
Sorry, which meeting is
Confirming
that?
You met in person yesterday?
We met at the earliest convenience when she returned over the weekend. So the day that she returned, we were able to meet.
And what day was that?
That was on Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
But we've had a number of conversations, obviously, over the course of the last few days.
Yeah.
And when did she actually leave the country?
On the 28th of December.
Of December. And just with her resignation, was that her idea, or was there a conversation that you had where you thought that was the best?
That was her. This is her decision. This is her being accountable, apologising, and wanting to do what's best for her, for the party.
Mama, can I get that into your
Could you partai again to me in English?
was she forthcoming with her resignation, or was that a conversation that you had together?
Nā Golriz tēnei whakaaro, nā Golriz ka puta atu tōna mihi, me tōna haere atu no te whare pāremata. Nōna tēnā nōna tana mihi ki ngā tangata o Aotearoa, ki te pāti kākāriki, nō reira me mihi ka tika ki aia, kei te tautoko māua, kei te tautoko māua ko James I tōna whakaaro I tēnei wā.
In her statement, she alludes to work stresses. Are you able to shed some light on what work stresses she faces?
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously Parliament is a stressful place, kind of for anybody. However, Golriz herself has been subject to pretty much continuous threats of sexual violence, physical violence, death threats since the day she was elected to Parliament, and so that has added a higher level of stress than is experienced by most members of Parliament. And that has meant, for example, that there have been kind of police investigations into those threats almost the entire time that she has been a Member of Parliament. And so obviously, if you're living with that level of threat in what is already quite a stressful situation, then there are going to be consequences for that. So I have a lot of empathy for the fact that she has identified that she is in a state of extreme mental distress. As Marama said, that's she's taking accountability for her actions and seeking for an explanation, and this is the best course for her in terms of recovery.
And so with the benefit of hindsight, are you confident that everything throughout this process has been done appropriately?
Everyone will have criticisms of how we've handled them. I think that we have made the decisions that we have when we have, based on the best information we had available at the time, and it doesn't change the outcome. Ultimately, Golriz is taking accountability for her actions. She's seeking medical help, and she is in a state of extreme distress. That's kind of where we're at, and we support her decision. Sorry,
I'm going to come to the back here, thank you.
Is the party aware of any other allegations at this stage?
There have been reports that all of the public saw. We did not know about those allegations. We were earlier advised that there might be more allegations to come, but that was just part of ordinary public information as well. We've seen other allegations reported on, but we had no previous knowledge of any other allegations.
It's really important to note that, the police, we are not in contact with the police. It would not be appropriate for us to be in contact with the police, and so, we are finding out about those kind of allegations as they come to light.
It only took a few days for that December allegation to make it to you. Are you surprised or disappointed that it took? There was an allegation dating back to October that you didn't find out about until the media reported it effectively?
We have no knowledge of the any other allegations that you're referring to. So,
are you talking about the Wellington
Oh.
one? Yeah. No, we only found out about that yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not surprising to you that it took until yesterday for an allegation that far back to make it to you?
Well, again, it's a police investigation.
Yeah.
We would not expect privileged access to that, and so, in fact, it would be inappropriate for us to have privileged access to that.
So,
Are you able to give us a clear?
Mental health has impacted Katie Allen as a previous MP, and how the media made it a frenzy. How, even though Golriz has resigned today, how will you continue to support her, because she will still continue to be the subject of attention, and she still needs care.
She does.
she does.
So how would the Green Party continue?
Golriz is getting a lot of support from her, colleagues in the Green Caucus, from other Green Party members and so on. She's also getting a lot of support from other communities that she's well connected to, and of course, most importantly, she's got professional support as well. We, have offered any support that we can provide. Ultimately, it's kind of a matter for her to decide, how best to take up the offers of support that she's receiving.
How we will continue to support Golriz is continue to ensure that she knows that our aroha and compassion, that we are holding that as colleagues, as friends, as women in politics, and that's really important to us. There will also be other practical supports that will be appropriate, and we'll just continue to stay in contact to offer those.
And what would you have done to intervene earlier so that wouldn't have escalated? Like being an MP, you know, the stresses and the nature of the job, but had you intervened earlier, maybe in October, like how can we prevent this from happening again with another MP falling subject to this?
Oh,
Yeah, look, I don't think that you.
hypothetical.
Yeah, it is a hypothetical question, and you know, I know you're kind of drawing a relationship to kind of other people in Parliament. Actually, each of those does kind of stand on their own, and the circumstances, you know, people are in are different. You know, I think Parliament has improved over the course of the last few years in terms of making support available.
Yeah.
We strongly encourage our MPs and our staff to access professional support, you know, if they feel that they need it, and we will continue to do so.
Where do you draw the line between someone who's got mental health issues and someone who's just making bad decisions and getting away with it, trying to get away with it?
Well, that is absolutely not the case here. That's really, really clear. And, you know, Golriz has said that she wants to take full accountability for her actions. And in disclosing kind of her mental health issues, she's not looking for an excuse
Not
here.
at all.
She's trying to sort of seek a reason to explain her behaviour, not to justify it. And I think that's really, really important.
I
Why were
think-
you unable to talk this through with her while she was still overseas?
Really appropriate. I think just ordinary folks across Aotearoa will understand that it's really appropriate for some conversations should only be face-to-face, should be in person, because that's the only way you can gather the whole vibe and wairua of the nature of what's being discussed, and also as I think as people can appreciate, to have supports available to people in those discussions as well.
It sounds like Golriz has had a tough time of things with the police investigations and the online trolling and things. You say that you were supporting her at the time. Can you tell me what you were doing? Was the ball in her court to get help from you, or were you doing check-ins and things?
No, we do, and we, you know, as a caucus, we discuss these matters as well. You know, we have every month we have our staff or senior staff and MPs meet for a day to do kind of planning, and you know those sort of issues are some of what we cover. Our MPs meet once a quarter over a weekend, and a lot of the agenda is kind of devoted to those sort of conversations. We work very closely with parliamentary security and with police and with IT and so on. So we have been trying over the course of kind of like the 10 years I've been an MP. I think we've been improving in terms of making sure that people have access to the support that they need. We don't have, like I said, we're not mental health professionals, and so we can't form anything other than a kind of a lay observer's assessment, and it wouldn't be appropriate for us to make an assessment of someone's mental health. But we do know that MPs do access mental health services as part of their work, and we would strongly encourage that to continue.
Is there more that you think could have been done?
It's hard for us to answer.
Yeah.
It's obviously really sad that it's gotten to this point, and again, we don't have full information. We like I said, we're not mental health professionals. We don't have access to those kinds of conversations. We're not the police. We don't have access to kind of any sort of information about any pattern of behaviour there, and so we kind of work with each other and we support each other as best we can, but it is a very challenging work environment.
You guys are losing a star, someone who's played a key role.
Absolutely.
How much damage has this done to the party?
We're all very sad. Our caucus, our colleague MPs, our party, her communities. Yeah, this is a loss. Let's not make any bones about that. This is a big loss to the kaupapa, to the mahi, and just to a person who we loved. And so this is a loss. We will continue to uphold her legacy in mahi, her portfolio areas, her areas that matter to us as the Green Party, not just to her, those relationships with those communities. We do what we can to carry on and honour her contribution to our kaupapa.
Have you spoken to Sylvia Wade Brown?
I have, yes.
Yeah.
What was talked about?
Well, again, that's a confidential conversation. I'm not going to get into the gist of it. She's, obviously very sad to, at the set of circumstances here as well.
But she's ready to become a Green MP?
Well, she will become a Green MP.
We welcome her. She's an amazing and experienced politician, and we absolutely welcome her, and of course regret the sad circumstances that she is coming into the big house in, of
Just
course.
on Scotty's, when did you see the security footage of that?
So the security footage is part of the subject of the police investigation, so we can't comment specifically on, issues to do with security footage or specific allegations or anything like that. I'm sorry.
Have you seen it?
We've seen some footage.
Yeah.
We don't know the extent of the footage that's out there, but ultimately that is a matter for the police, not for us.
Are you able to give us a bit of a clearer picture on the timeline from your guys' perspective when you first heard about it to now?
Well, I mean, we've made a couple of
Outlined it.
statements around that. We understood that there was an allegation on the 27th of December. The facts of the situation at that time were not clear, and so we contacted both Ms. Ghahraman and Scotty's just to try and understand it a little better, and the facts remained kind of unclear, for some time. On the 5th, we learned about a second allegation. Again, because we're not the police, we don't have access to full information. It was unclear, but obviously more than one incident. So we took a few days at that point to sort of work out, where to go from there, recognising that, we still live by the principle that people are innocent until proven guilty, and that we are not the police, and the police investigation had not concluded at that time. So we felt that it would be best for her to stand aside from her portfolios whilst the investigation was ongoing. Then on the 10th, it became kind of public knowledge, and here we are.
Has she given you any kind of indication of what was going through her head when she was doing this stuff, or allegedly doing this stuff?
Those conversations we will not be going into detail to and are private. What's important today is she is apologising, she is taking responsibilities, she has tendered her resignation, and we are in full support of that and offer her our love and support in an ongoing way as well.
Did
If
she
she hadn't
disclose
resigned, would she
Yeah.
still be an MP?
If she hadn't,
Hadn't resigned.
oh, that's a hypothetical that no one can really answer. The important kōrero here today is she is taking responsibility, apologising, and we wish her the best on her recovery also.
Did she
Were any
disclose whether or
colleagues-
not there could be any
Yeah.
other allegations that come to light?
That we won't be going into detail of those conversations, and as we understand, that is subject to a police investigation. I just want to come back.
Aware of what had happened before you two?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Were any Green Party colleagues aware of what had happened before the two of you were?
What do you mean by what had happened?
Oh,
By the allegations.
we put out a statement. We put out an initial statement that a Green representative has been facilitating this on our behalf. So a Green representative has been communicating this to us, and as far as we're aware, it was just us as co-leaders that this was communicated to.
That's an MP or a staffer or?
A Green Party representative.
Could we please get a comment on former Mayor Celia Wade Brown coming in and what she has to offer?
Look, Celia is a very, very experienced politician. She's won seven elections during the course of her career, and of course 2 of those as Mayor of Wellington. So she brings a long history of public service. and a very practical understanding of the challenges that are faced in our urban environments, particularly around transport and housing and so on. So she'll be a great MP, and we're looking forward to having her on board.
Now, I've particularly noted her ongoing priorities around tiriti justice, equality, making sure that everyone has what they need to live dignified lives. These are all kaupapa that are core to our heart, and so we welcome her and obviously regret the sad circumstances of her entry, but I know she's going to rock the place. She's going to do her utmost best, especially to honour our colleague who we're losing today.
On this allegation relating to Wellington in October, since you've acknowledged that you only found out from media when that came yesterday, after Ms. Ghahraman's conversation with the two of you, are you disappointed that you didn't bring that up, that there was a potential for other incidents to come?
Well, again, we can't comment on what allegations are out there that we kind of either that we knew about or didn't know about.
But that would be putting a judgment on the allegations, and we just simply cannot do that.
This is a judgment on her making it known to you that there are potential other claims.
No, it's a judgment on whether the allegations have any truth to them, and we are not in a position to be able to qualify that at all.
But she didn't raise those. So the potential
Look,
that there would be others.
Are
you disappointed?
What we're disappointed about is the way that that this is the circumstances that she finds herself in. Right. So this is really unfortunate. And it's important to us that she takes accountability for her actions, that she gets the support that she needs, and we hope that it gets resolved as fast as it can. You can ask lots of questions about what ifs and if this and so on and so forth. We're not terribly interested in that. Things have gone.
Is she really being upfront? And you're admitting to these things. She hasn't told you about possible allegations.
But don't. It's not our. We don't want to do the police's job here.
We
right?
cannot.
And ultimately, that is a matter for what the allegations are is a matter for the police to investigate. What's important again is that she is taking responsibility and she is seeking help.
How is this taking responsibility if she hasn't been upfront about the potential for more instances?
And nobody knows, nobody can say whether she is or isn't being upfront about any other instances or allegations. That is for the police to answer, certainly not James and I.
Yeah.
Can I just, one more question in terms of going forward, when is the portfolio reshuffling?
Oh, look, this is kind of too early to say, but obviously Parliament doesn't resume until the 30th of January. So we kind of need to let the dust settle a wee bit here, and then we'll sit down and kind of work out what we need to do from here.
So you won't be starting until then, or do you want to have a plan by then?
Well, we're kind of dealing with the resignation today. We will get to that.
We will.
Celia, the earliest practical point that she can be sworn in is on the first sitting day, on the 30th of January. We haven't even had that conversation about when that could occur. So, all of the kind of logistical things that need to happen from this point on,
we haven't had that conversation.
We will handle them in good time.
I guess it's likely, comparing other like situations where there's been change of MPs across any party, it's likely there'll be some interim portfolio holders, and then the more permanent work of portfolio reshuffle will happen in due course.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you very much.